And one of the things I'd like to open up to you is opportunities for you to ask questions. And as I said last month, one of the things that we're hoping that people are, if you don't already know, get to know, is that the Snoqualmie Valley has some very unique issues and some unique challenges of which we're all very excited to accept. A lot of our folks in the Snoqualmie Valley do not want to leave the Snoqualmie Valley to receive services. If it's not provided here, then, oh well, I guess I won't get them. And we're thinking, wait a minute. So one of the goals here is that folks would learn what we have and what we don't have, how we can meet the needs of seniors in this particular situation in housing in these particular housing units, and where are the gaps so that those folks in the audience right now from other organizations, hospice and home health and those types of places, but also rehab, and individuals in our community can go, let's see, wow, there's a connection I can make there. There's some help I have to offer there. But what we're really looking for, and I've said this before, is will you really come out to Snoqualmie Valley? Will you really come out to, Mount Si, go past Mount Si, gravel road, over the river and through the woods literally, and can you make it if it's snowing? So we really want you to think about some of the unique aspects of who we are. So when we're talking about waiting lists or transportation, or we're the only boarding home in the whole entire Snoqualmie Valley, what does that mean to you, and how can you as an organization, if you are one, fill a gap for us, to help us in some way, connect with us, partner with us, but also if you're a community member, what is it that you want to see? Because as Lorianne said, those generators, they keep changing sizes and our needs keep changing. Healthcare is changing drastically, and what looked like something even 2 years ago may not look like that now. And what you knew even 6 months ago about an organization or what was available or a waiting list may completely change overnight. So, and I'm probably preaching to the choir, but I want you to keep that in mind as you ask questions, and also as you answer, how we can really draw our community and our community partners in the room into who we are, understanding who we are, and so we can collaborate and coordinate care for the vulnerable. So I'm going to open it up for questions. Claire.
Okay. Do you want me to do it with the microphone?
Let's see. Can I have Laura?
Yes.
Would you do me a favor and walk around with the microphone when someone has a question?
Sure, that's great.
Okay, I'm gonna start with BJ with this question, but I'll ask it for other folks too. So I understand that you're representing Snowbridge Apartments. It's owned as a nonprofit organization. Is that correct?
No.
Or it's a for-profit owner?
It's nonprofit, it's not for-profit.
It's not for-profit. It's probably a HUD 202,
Yes.
if I understand that right.
Yes.
And so rents are restricted.
Yes.
Is that correct? And then if rents are restricted,
Restricted,
okay.
yes.
Is it based on the person's income, or is it based on an income level? Because sometimes they have rents are based on 50% of median income, and then sometimes it's based on 30% of somebody's income. Do you know?
Ours is 30% based upon your income.
30% based upon your income.
That I know.
Great. I'm going to ask them the same question of Lai too. So is your project, is it a for-profit, like it's owned by a company or a real estate company or something like that? Is that correct? Not a nonprofit?
It's owned by Legacy.
Okay, it's owned by Legacy. And for you have some units that are set aside for low income, am I understanding that right?
Yes.
Are those have a subsidized, are those like a set low rent, or is it just set aside for low income?
Those are set aside as RD, Rural and Development
Okay, okay. And do those also then have a lower rent for those low income people?
Yes, based on their incomes.
Based on their incomes, not an income level.
7 units.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I got it. And I'm going to assume, if I'm correct, that Red Oak, again, is owned by a for-profit company, it's not a nonprofit. Is that correct?
So the answer to that is yes, it's actually licensed as an LLC, and it means that at some point in our future, we'd love to make a profit.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. I wish you financial success. And are there any subsidized or restricted units, or are they all just whatever the market rate is for those units?
So officially, it's whatever the market rate is, because it's a private pay group. We had a Medicaid, currently have a Medicaid, that's contract with the state of Washington under their assisted living boarding home regs. And that contract is up for negotiation. And as we all know, Olympia is doing some really strange things this year, so I have no clue if that's going to continue. So my party line right now for folks is don't count on Medicaid. Okay, let's be creative on looking at financing options for people.
Excellent. That really helps me. I appreciate those answers from all of you ladies.
Next question? I know you have one.
I can always ask if I want.
I'll ask this. Okay.
I'll bring it. Yeah, I turned it off.
Hello. Hi. I'm a recreational therapist at the hospital, and this question is for BJ regarding the Snow Ridge Apartments. I've had patients that have come from there, and they've mentioned that they have participated in some like organized recreational things at the apartment complex. So my question is this something that somebody leads, or are these the residents at the or at the apartment complex themselves that kind of, get together and do these things? And if it is structured, is there a calendar or something that I could, draw from to be able to give to patients? Does that make sense?
Yay! Every day is a learning day for me. I have no marketing department. I have no HR department. I have no legal department.
You are all those things.
It's me, and a coordinator and a bookkeeper. I have a part-time person that, poor David, I just dump stuff, and he's done at the end of this month, and it's sad to leave him. However, to answer your question, in preparation for this and last month's Lunch and Learn, I learned I don't even have a brochure on our transportation. And I don't have a brochure for our apartments.
Okay.
So it is my goal to get some marketing people together and start working and creating that information. And to answer your question, to the best of my knowledge, Howard does call local people, musicians, in for entertainment, that kind of thing. But I think most of the activities that are scheduled there are led by residents who live there. If they like to play bingo, they do that. If they like to play pinochle or do crafting or knitting or whatever. They're just truly, literally down the street and around the corner. And we do have transportation. I'm challenged to get them over to our senior center, where we do offer program-led activities. And I haven't quite figured out what the logistics problem is with that, so that we can get them over to our center and engage in those activities. We have a wonderful program called SAIL, Staying Active and Independent for Life, and you're all shaking your head, so you're familiar with it. And, excuse me, I know the nurse who created that program. She and I work with the same company. And I keep thinking if they would just come over for that program 3 days a week, you might lose your job. But they might be coming to you less and less.
Oh, that's probably true.
I'm sure you'll always have clients. But it is something that we do need to work on.
Yeah, just connecting all of it together, because I know there's little pockets.
There are, and you can help me with that. I did bring some copies of our new newsletter for
great.
February
Okay.
and March. So
We
all
are,
those
a lot of
activities.
the therapists in rehab, what we do is, the focus obviously is for them while they're in the hospital, but it's also looking at, how are you going to remain active and connected in the community when you leave here. And that's it's helpful to have that information. And we've taken patients on outings to the senior center and done all that, so.
Yes, we have trips too that they could sign
Yeah.
up for.
So.
My goal as a marketing plan was, how you go to the doctor and they write you out that prescription, run to the pharmacy, get this drug filled and take it 3 times a day or whatever. and Amar and I have talked about this, that I want a prescription pad for doctors, recreational therapists, or whatever. And I wanted to list on there all of the classes that we offer who would help that individual with their mobility, with their balance, with just socialization. It's you know, it's mental as well as physical. And so when you go to the doctor or your therapist or whatever, you can say, you know, the North Bend Senior Center's got this program, I'm gonna check that off, and that's their prescription.
I think that's a great idea.
You're absolutely prescribing them to go here to do X, Y, and Z, to stay healthy.
And it could be part of the treatment plan.
Yes, yes. So I am working on that.
No, I appreciate it.
Low priority right now, but it will happen. It truly will.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
I'll ask a question.
So, how do you three do you talk to each other? How do you know, if someone's on your list, are they at the senior center? Does the senior center, or, I'm sorry, not senior center, she's not a senior center, she's Howard. Snow Ridge Apartments, you know, when folks are looking for places to live, do they go through, you know, do they talk to you and you refer, are there any referrals among the three apartment and boarding home complexes?
I know that Howard does that. I mean, imagine if you walked into our apartment complex and you're looking for a place to live to find out you're number 24 on the list. To me, if I'm 62, well, I am, or older, I'd be devastated. I mean, what are my options? Where do I go? What do I do tonight or next week? And how long do I have to wait? I mean, it really engages a lot of thought and what's the next step. So I do know that Howard does share with them the apartmentfinder.org website, and he will sit down and go through the list. Whether he calls Red Oak personally or others in the community, I don't know. But he does resource, he does give people information of where they can go.
But if someone's come and I don't have any available, or I usually will give them resource that I have in my office around my community, what we have offered. I actually, I think we send one of my residents to yours. Yeah.
So I think in the last 15 years, I've had one 62-year-old living at Red Oak. So I'm really dealing with a slightly different population than these two guys are. Not that we haven't had younger people because of physical needs, but what usually happens is that some issue has happened in the independent apartment where because of a physical frailty or a mental, a neurological frailty, they're no longer able to maintain that level of independence that means that they can do their own cooking, do their own cleaning, get themselves to the senior center. And at that point, those managers are usually kind of going, families, hint, hint, here are the choices that we have. And so I get those calls from folks that are living there. When somebody walks into my building and they're 35 and they're looking for an apartment building, it's like, here's the list that's in North Bend. You know, you probably don't want to move in with me because there's some other things going on here that, you know, your music is just not going to be the same that we're playing in the dining room. You know, might be, you never know.